The tools required for this build are a screwdriver with a 225 bit, wire strippers, zip ties, 16 gauge 3-prong connector with tinned ends, LED safety glasses, heat shrink tubing, that's optional, Wago connectors, 7 per driver, 100K dimming pot, 18 gauge solid core wire, and a tape measure. For this build, we're going to be using T-soldered aluminum extrusion. There's a few suppliers out there, but we went ahead with T-nuts. For the LED heatsink, we went with a 1x1 tri-soldered extrusion. One side is completely flat and 3 sides are slotted, allowing you to mount them various ways. This is the hardware that's going to hold down the light. Match with a matching screw and an aluminum angle. They come both as a pair or individual.
Perfect.
These corners will hold the entire LED frame. Every bar will require 1, or you can use 2 just to be safe. Let's get this build started. We're going to start by putting the corners on the heatsinks that will be holding the LEDs. You can either put them on the sides or on the inner insides. Make sure to check your measurements so your heat sinks stay centered. We're gonna finish off the light with putting one heatsink at the end and then spacing every heatsink evenly. If you are mounting the driver remotely, you can add the corner bracket now. This design is optimized for those who will be mounting the drivers directly on the LED frames. Let's get this build started. Make sure to check your measurements so your heat sinks stay centered. You can also not screw them down all the way, so you can adjust them throughout the cycle. Now it's time to mount and wire the driver. For this build, we're going with a manual driver. We'll need to modify the holes in order to place the driver on top of the LED light. In order to do that, we're going to be using a 1/4 bit to make the holes a little bigger. Once that's done, get some hardware and you're ready to place the driver on top of the light. Now let's add that last corner bracket and let's check the sturdiness. I love how easy it is to work with material. You can expand to any design, like a 2x4 or a 4x4. You can get these bars on any size you need to fill out your space. The reason why this is a great option is because you can cover your canopy evenly compared to like some of the lights out there right now where it's just panels. If you're going to be doing multiple builds, I suggest you make holes on all the drivers first and then add the hardwares. So like that, it's easier to just be placing the drivers as soon as you're just making the fixtures. For the wiring, I'm going to go ahead and use Wago connectors. You can go ahead and use waterproof glands, soldering, Wagos, whatever you want to use. Just make sure that it's rated for the amperage and the voltage. If you're going to be going with Wagos, you're going to need 7 per driver. 3 on the AC side, 2 for the LEDs, and 2 for the dimmer. These are the Wago 221. Let's get the wiring started. For the AC side, you're going to want to match green with green, black with brown, and white with blue. Make sure the leads don't stick out. Cut them to ensure they stay inside the Wago connector. The reason why you don't want them to stick out is because they can arc and you can cause a short, causing a fire.
Perfect.
The top 2 are for the dimmer and the bottom 2 are for the lights. We're going to begin to wire the dimmer first. When wiring your dimmer, the negative is always in the center. The positive can be changed either side depending which way you want to rotate your dimmer.
Perfect.
Because we're using an HLG Series B driver, we're going to be going with a 100K pot dimmer. This will ensure us able to dim down to at least 10%.
Perfect.
Wiring the LEDs. For the LEDs, negative voltage is blue and positive voltage is brown. I like to mark the wires as a precaution. Now let's get ready to place the LED strips. Make sure to wear gloves when handling the LEDs. Apply double-sided thermal tape if you want to avoid tapping screws onto the heatsinks. Clean the heatsink before placing the LEDs.
Perfect.
You want to avoid any oils getting onto the LEDs themselves. Avoid touching the LED diodes. We'll now begin to wire the LED. We're going to be using the 18 gauge solid core wire. The reason why we're going with 18 gauge is because that's the maximum gauge that these LED strips allow you to use. And the solid core because it's more solid connection. You can also chain the ends of your stranded wire if you only have stranded. And that makes have a better connection and also it grips it better with the connector.
Perfect.
Make sure the leads don't stick out from any of the connectors. I'm going with a series wiring. The reason I'm doing this is because of the amount of voltage and amperage that the LED driver puts out and the LED strips. So this combination, you need to go with a series wire. You can configure it any way if you're running different LEDs. Just check the specs and check the specs of the LED driver and make sure that you can use it. If you have any questions, drop a comment and I'll make sure to check them and help you out any way I can. Before you start tucking the wires away, make sure to test the light and the dimmer so you know that everything's functioning correctly. I like to test it a couple times before turning it off completely and hanging it, but once everything is good to go, I'll tuck the wires in and make it look clean. I will be doing a seed to harvest to review this light, as I used to be running CXP 3590s. I ran those for like 5 years, made some big colas, so I'm expecting nothing less with these Bridgelux EB2 strips. Looks like everything's good to go here. Driver's working, dimmer's working. If you got any questions, drop a comment. If you like the video, drop a like. I'm gonna be making more videos, so stay tuned. Seed to harvest coming soon. Reviewing this light, nutrients I'm gonna be testing out. Yeah, see you guys soon. Now it's time to hang the light.